Okay, so welcome everyone to this coaching salon about ChatGPT. And I see some familiar faces and some new faces. So just a little bit of an introduction for me. I've been a master coach for, gosh, over 15 years now. And one of the things that I've always been interested in is new technology. Even before I became a coach, I was, the first email manager at Eddie Bauer in the early 2000s. I worked at classmates.com, which was a precursor to all the social media that you see here. And yes, I sent I was sending 27 million emails weekly during that time. Sorry about that, everybody who got those back then. And then, in 2009, I was teaching coaches how to use Twitter. So it was, I kind of realized as ChatGPT came to the forefront, like this isn't a new fascination for me. And especially bringing these new pieces of technology to coaches and kind of walking them through how to interact with them. And the whole gist here today is we're just going to keep it so kind of basic and simple and easy, because this can really make your head explode very quickly. So we want to start basic. We're going to do a lot of show and tell. And then underlying that, AI really I think it is like the internet, or even bigger than that, where I do think it will fundamentally change the way that we interact with the world. So it behooves us to kind of overcome any fear or resistance that we have and engage with it, because as we're engaging with it, we become part of the audience that is teaching it how we want it to be. So it's also not just for your own benefit, but it's kind of like being the change that you want to see in the world. So I also wanted to bring my friend, Catherine Adams. Catherine is trained as a coach as well, and she's a consultant, and I'll let her introduce herself. But we've been having many conversations about AI, and Catherine, I'm going to kick it to you because it'll become apparent right away why I wanted her to be here with us. So,
okay, I've always been fascinated in programming, and I'm lucky. As I look back, I see my dad kicked this off for me. He brought a PC home from IBM where he worked in like 1983 or 1984, and it was this funny little thing, and it hardly did anything, but we were all fascinated. And then he was an entrepreneur salesperson, and he would come up with these great ideas and say, nobody else can print something like this. It's totally impossible, but you can code it, can't you? So from a young age, I was trying to fiddle away behind things. And then I ended up studying computer science. And in the mid-90s, I took an AI course. So that was early AI. What was it doing? And kind of lifting up the curtains behind AI at the time. And it isn't really AI, it's just computers kind of adding some things together and coming up with the best guess. And then I taught that course. And over the last years since then, I've been working in IT and doing a lot of programming and business work and coaching and mentoring. And I've always worked in the field of IT. So I'm doing a lot of translation between the really techie people, the ones that just program and you push specs and food under the door and they don't want to talk to people. So, I can talk to these really, really technical guys. And then also talking to people who either struggle with tech or just a bit curious and need to use it, but don't really love it. It's not a major part of their business. So I have fallen headlong into automation and AI and ChatGPT, and I've been reading everything I can about it and giving some talks at work. I've given some presentations and spoken to my colleagues about it. And we have a group that's trying to find some good ways to use it. You can't tell it from my accent, but I live in Norway. And Norway's got some very, very interesting progressive rules and laws and suggestions and structures and ways of working with AI as well. So we in my company, we're engaging with the government, and we're engaging with inside our company for how we can use it. And I'm really fascinated by ChatGPT, not so much about how they built it, but what we can do, because it's saved me a ton of effort lately in my work, looking things up, making presentations, checking code. And it's also good for a laugh because it can make some crazy mistakes too.
Well, and I even realized, like, thank you, Catherine. I'm so glad that you came to join us today. And I think part of the thing is like remembering that ChatGPT can help you. For instance, I was doing this little agenda this morning, you know, and doing my outline like I always do. And then I realized I could paste in the link to that page I created where you all signed up and have it generate an agenda for me with prompts, which I did after the fact. So let me, okay, wait, before I show you that really quick, we'll start there.
Yeah.
But before we dive in, because this is what happens, like we're trying to keep it from being a complete, you can just go down rabbit holes like crazy. So we're going to try to resist that and have it at least be a little bit structured. But the first thing I wanted to do is ask if anybody has specific questions or thoughts or concerns or anything that you want to be sure that we address. You can chat it in, or you can just, I mean, look, there's not a ton of us here live, so feel free to chime in. And then the other thing I want to say is, look, if you want to get a little chat window going on the side and kind of be pasting things in and futzing around while we're futzing around, like, please feel free to do so, because I really want to encourage you to try stuff. Okay, who's got anything that they want to make sure that we cover?
Also, I have a question, is how many have
Yes.
tried ChatGPT already? Have you tried it and played with it? Great. Okay, good. Okay, cool.
One, two.
I just want to say I've dabbled in it a little, and I'm really here. I so appreciate it. I feel like you're just going to get me there faster. Like all the stuff I'm putting off trying.
Yes.
So I'm just riding your wings. So thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
That's exactly the goal. That's exactly the goal. And we want to show you, like, I mean, and look at, here's the thing is, you know, Catherine, myself, like, this is an even playing field. I mean, except for the people that are creating AI, like you hear about people being prompt engineers, and this is the way you have to do a prompt, or blah, blah, blah. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Like, we're all learning at the same time. Nobody's behind. And so you'll hear all this fancy schmancy stuff. And sure, some of that is very nice and very usable. But the main thing we want to show you is you can just get into this thing, and we'll show you some ways to get into it. And away you go, and you'll find your own ways, and then you'll be your own AI professional. So, all right. And then what I wanted to say is we have a few examples today that will show you, but we also, I mean, ask questions, say, oh, wait a minute, like what just happened there? Like, and then Catherine's going to kind of color commentate as we go along, because we didn't want to just recite a bunch of facts to you. So we really just want to have, it's more like almost an open workshop. Catherine, did you want to add anything else?
I was going to say, actually, with ChatGPT, so programming used to be I mean, it is an art. I think that it's an apprenticed art in some way, but the ChatGPT way of communicating, this large language model, actually means that if you have good language skills, you are now even ahead of other people, because the more you can phrase things and try to explain very specifically what you want to ChatGPT, the better results you're going to get. And that actually means that us as coaches and people who can communicate are going to start getting a great result, even if you want to program out of ChatGPT. So the playing field is really leveled now. And if you have the ability to explain yourself well, and I'll tell you a little bit about the prompting, some tips that I've picked up, you're already ahead just by being able to formulate a good question.
Yeah, and Kate just added, I used it the other day to create a bunch of social media posts, and I was shocked by how good they are. Yes, I think one of the biggest pieces for me has been just leveraging my content. So I wrote something, I wrote a blog post, now make it into Instagram posts, Facebook posts, optimize it for SEO. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do. So a lot of what I chose to show you all today is sort of in that category. And then I think Catherine has even some other things. But okay, so let me show you what the agenda for this meeting, since we're all here and we kind of know the subject, this is a great way to start. So Catherine was saying, like, so when you first go to, and this is the URL, chat.openai.com. There are other, so Catherine, what did you find about this?
Yeah, so I use this on my phone a lot. And the way I get to the site is I just type in login ChatGPT. And now there's a website called Login ChatGPT and an app called Login ChatGPT, which is not the same as this one. So people are jumping on this bandwagon, and any website that has ChatGPT in it and has AI in it is now being taken up. So I would recommend you make sure you're at this openai.com and not at some other weird spam website that just happens to be at the top of Google's sponsored searches.
And now, if you haven't signed up yet, when you first get here, you need to create an account. So, don't be daunted if it asks you to do that. It's not just a straight up search engine like Bing or Google where you can just go in and start doing stuff. The other thing is I am paying for the service. So if you're not paying for ChatGPT, which is fine, it's a great way to start, but there may be times during the day where it's actually down, or it's down for you due to the volume of traffic. So they prioritize paid people. I will say this is probably one of the best $20 a month that I am spending.
Yeah.
So, play around with it and you may find there's value. And then the next thing, you can just see how plain this is. Like, these are my old things, chats that I've done.
And what's really smart is that it's now putting the dates onto your chat. So you have some vague idea of, I was talking to it about something 2 weeks ago, and you can scroll back. It didn't used to do that. You just had pages of all your old chats.
Yeah. And this, is not optimal at this point, no. Right? But
you can't search through what you've chatted about. But it does, that all those titles on the text are ChatGPT's own interpretation of what you were asking. So all those headlines.
And you can change them too. Yes. If you don't like it, there's an option.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing to know is there's 2 versions of ChatGPT that you can use. It will default to ChatGPT 3.5, and it tells you right here, the fastest model, great for most everyday tasks. I tend to go over here to GPT-4, and then also because I'm a paid user, so GPT 3.5 may be the only one available to free users. So we're going to show you a little bit of what GPT-4 can do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, now you have default, which, Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's looking at data only up through 2001, and it can't
21.
look live on the web.
21, September 21.
Yeah.
So, for example, it doesn't know about the war with Ukraine, or the war in Ukraine, because that happened a little after that. So that is pretty much a cutoff date. I wouldn't ask it for news or stock prices, for example, with the default.
That's that's a really good point. Why don't you talk about what you would and would not use it for, just in general, and all kind of, okay, so before you do that, what I'm going to do here is I'm selecting browse with Bing, and you'll see, so new things are coming all the time, fast.
This was just today, or yesterday.
Yeah, and you have to almost filter this stuff. There's so much new stuff, like, don't worry so much about all the new stuff. But this one is good because now you can look at live stuff. It'll look at live stuff on the web.
Yes.
So I'm going to pick this, and then I'm going to have it make the agenda for today's meeting. And then Catherine can talk a little bit, while you can just watch me do this while Catherine talks a little bit about what you may or may not want to have chat do for you.
I'll show you in a moment how you can confuse it and confound it, and how it doesn't give you facts. But what it is designed to do is give you the most persuasive possible text it can. So it's actually designed like a super autocorrect. And so the next few words that it produces are going to be the most statistically probable words. And so everything that it writes looks fabulously persuasive. And when it writes code, it looks like great code. And then you try to run this code and it's terrible. It doesn't work at all and it's full of bugs. So there was a case a couple of days ago about a lawyer who tried to use ChatGPT in New York. This was on the New York Times, and it cited a law that doesn't exist, and he got into really big trouble with the court because this was just a made-up law. And if you chat to ChatGPT and it gives you something that looks interesting but doubtful, and you say, where is your citation for this? Can you give me a website? It will happily make up a website. You know, it'll give you a Wikipedia link that looks really convincing, and you click on that, and there's no such thing. So I wouldn't ask it for medical advice or anything really important and factual, but it can be a good kind of evaluation tool. It's really, really good at thinking, and that I'm just saying that in quotes, of considering alternatives. There was a story about a man whose dog was very, very ill, and he rushed the dog into the vet, got lots and lots of blood work done and a whole lot of numbers, and the vet decided, based on his intuition and opinion, that the dog needed a certain course of treatment, and the dog just wasn't getting better. So the owner typed all these blood work numbers into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT gave it a few suggestions of what these symptoms could actually be caused by. The first one was the one that the original vet had thought about, but there were two others. And the warning about one of the others was that it's rare and the treatment that the dog was currently getting would be totally wrong for it. So he took the dog off to another vet, and they assumed the second case, and that was right. So, you know, I wouldn't use it for a final medical diagnosis, but it is really, really good for brainstorming and thinking about other options. And I love it for getting rid of the blank page effect. So
yeah,
if I know that I want to write something and I stare at that blank page, I can just say, give me a few ideas about, and off it goes. And they might not all be good ideas, but it can just pique something for you. I had some ideas for my child's birthday, which is one of the classics. And you can give it an entire email sequence. So my husband was chasing up with a recruiter, no, actually with the interviewer, who had said, we'll get back to you in about 2 weeks. And 2 weeks had passed, and he was saying to me, how do I follow this up? So I just pasted the entire email chain into ChatGPT and said, please write the follow-up email from the perspective of the candidate, and in Norwegian, and in the style of, and I'll tell you a bit more about that, in the style of a Norwegian offshore oil worker. And it was pretty good. He was really impressed, and it kind of gave him something to work with. And a few minutes later, he had his email. So it's great for assisting you with anything creative or awkward, or again, just ideas that you can spark off from.
Yeah, and the way Catherine and I have been talking about it is, you know, it'll get you, it can get you 80% of the way there, you know, like writing your social media posts or the bio, but there might be just, you always want to review it and you're going to tweak it a little bit, but my gosh, to get you 80%, especially writing a bio, right? That I just think that alone, I actually had it write a bio for me too. I forgot about that one. And I just think that alone is like worth the price of admission. It is so hard to write a bio. Okay, so I did this, and this is what I asked it to do. So it prompts and 5 things we could do during this hour. And this is pretty much what we're going to cover, right? I don't feel, I mean, I feel like the prompt, did it? Yeah,
it does talk a little bit.
Didn't really include, it's funny, I did this before and I got a slightly different outcome by using the same words. So that's the thing too, is I could say, now give me detailed prompts for each of the above examples. So this is, I want to do this just to show you. So if you're in the same chat, right, it will build on everything that you have put before it. So some people, what they're doing is they're having like a chat that is like my personal assistant.
Yes.
And then they're having a chat that is, business development letters or something, but they will keep these threads that they keep coming back to because they're just adding information and they want it to keep taking the information from that thread. Okay, so it didn't like.
I've never seen that error before, but they even say this is sort of beta. It's all just being developed. And okay, so you've reached your.
I reached a cap. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Apparently this is one of the top 10 most used websites in the world right now, and that includes TikTok and YouTube. So if you can imagine, it's getting quite. I've got GPT-4. I haven't used it for anything for a little while, but the cap on that special side is 25 questions per 3 hours.
So I blew it preparing for
That's okay.
my whole
I can do a bit
allotment.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll show these people. But
Bridgette, can I ask a quick question based on what you just said? So each topic, as it learns, whether it's an outline or I don't know, interview questions, it's like you can store them like folders or files.
Yes.
And just keep them somewhere and use that as like the topical. Catherine, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, it's fine. This is
I have to make sure I get this down.
This is important.
So for instance, I have one here. I'm currently teaching my Mosaic Path class, right? So what I do, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to do this one again until my allotment comes back, but what I will do is I create a transcript from my classes. So literally right now, this recording, I will load it up into another tool called Descript. Let me just quickly show this to you. This is Descript. And what it will do is if you load up any audio or video file in it, so this is another service that you can get, it will automatically generate this transcript using AI. And then I can actually edit the transcript just like I'm editing a Word file. And it will change, if I choose to have it do so, it will actually make edits in the file. So
in the video file?
Yes, in the video or the audio file, you can add your headers and your footers. You can improve the sound quality. I mean, this is a whole other deal. But what I do is, so when I do a class or anything, I'll upload the video in here, and then I get my transcript, and then I go, eventually I think they'll just have this, they'll have a ChatGPT or similar right in this software. But right now, then I pop on back over to ChatGPT and I paste the whole, this is the class Maryland's actually, so you have to paste it over a number. You only have so much text that you can paste in. So I have to paste it several times. And then at the end, what I will do is I will ask it to summarize all of that content that I've pasted in.
Yeah, you see that great question it's asking. It's seen in that 202. It said it sounds like you just shared a transcript. And then it's asking, are you looking for insights or comments, or do you have questions? So you could say, yes, I'd like you to summarize this for me in 5 bullet points, or I would like you to go and create some exercises for me based on this topic. Create some interactive exercises that people could do in a group, or there's a lot you could do with any of this content. So you could imagine.
There, I switched over.
Okay, good. Yes.
Okay, so now it's creating a transcript.
A summary. Yeah.
Or a summary. And I can say, write it clear. And what would you say here? the teacher of this class in.
So that's a really important thing you're doing. A lot of ChatGPT is going to depend on the quality of the question you ask. And if you say, pretend you're the teacher, or act as if you are a finance guru, or act as if you are 10 years old, will give you a totally different answer. So you could tell it to summarize this as though you are a pirate, or in the voice of Mahatma Gandhi, or it really can. It could turn this whole summary into a rap in the style of Eminem if you wanted it to.
Oh, let's do that.
For these are, so ChatGPT does better rapping, but it's pretty impressive. So number 4 does, yeah. Right. So you can make it write poems in the style of Shakespeare. You can there's a lot of great creativity, and so if you said act as though you are a great storyteller talking to 10 and 11-year-olds, and you're going to tell them a fantasy story about a little girl, the story has to end positively, and it's got to be an affirmative feminist theme, there needs to be a dragon, you can send quite a few hundreds of lines or words to this, especially in ChatGPT 4, which allows many more words. You could craft a fabulous outline or story, or, as you say, some exercises. You could give it your transcript or a PDF that you've made and say, create some sample questions for this, create a test, and give me the, make it a multiple choice test, or make it a test that has some essay responses required. And then you can say, here are 4 of the essay responses I got from my students. Please grade them. And it will do that too.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Good Lord. So what are some fun exercises students could do as a result, of the ideas discussed? I'm like, Jesus, these are...
So we're doing some certifications at work, and some of the people were a bit sad that the material we had only had 1 or 2 questions per section. So we just dropped ChatGPT in and said, create 20 questions out of the material per section, and out it came. Sometimes it repeated them. It wasn't always absolutely fantastic, but it was a really, really good way to test ourselves. It was very supportive. So you could... Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Catherine.
No, I was going to say, you could create some exercises, and you could ask people to write in some answers to you, and then you could use ChatGPT to look at the answers and summarize what is the overall class saying, or what is this person really talking about. If they've written something very long, you could ask to summarize it.
Yeah. This is the thing. This is what, and so the other piece that I want to, I was talking to somebody about chat, and she was trying to, she wanted a list of like personas. I think she was creating a coaching tool where she was using, people as an example or something. And so she wanted these personas. Well, she got all names that sounded basically like white people, and she said, and so then she was like really pissed off, and rightfully so. She was like, ChatGPT isn't diverse, and what I said to her is, I said, this is what we have to teach it, and so I just really encouraged her to stay engaged, and keep asking it to give her what she wants. And so this is such a big part. Like, I'm doing some one and dones here, but if I was really working with this, I would ask a lot more questions. And so the way that I think about it is like, I'm in a conversation, and it's like, if I asked Catherine, would you do this for me? And she said, well, here's this. And I'm like, oh, actually, you know what? I forgot. I want bullets. Can you do it? I mean, it would be super annoying as a boss, but we can't always know what we're going to get. And so you really have to view it as a conversation. So I wanted to show you a couple of other things that I've done that have been super helpful. Actually, so I had a course. Oh, go ahead, Catherine.
I was going to say, and it's infinitely patient. So you don't need to worry that you're irritating a bot. It's just, it would be like, as it would be like getting worried that you're using autocorrect too much on your while you're texting. It's really just a robot, even though it can say things that sound empathetic and sound, it can apologize for making mistakes. You could just go at this again and again and again and tell it to refine what it's given you 500 times, and it's never going to stop. The Bing and Bard bots might stop, but this one will just keep trying to feed you good information until what you've
until you run into some kind of limitation by the company.
Yes, and this is a great tip as well, is if you get stuck, you think, I don't know what else to prompt, you can say, please help me to create a prompt that I could give you about blah blah, and it will ask you some questions. You could say, I don't know what more to ask, I need this, perhaps you could ask me some questions that will then help me to clarify. So you can ask, you can type in here, help me to create a prompt to you, and it will really offer you some great suggestions. Help me create a prompt, and what do you want to do? Yeah. Oh, sorry, a prompt for ChatGPT, maybe.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. Even this, so because now it's assuming you want.
It's a writing prompt.
Yes, because you've asked it as a teacher, so it's giving you a prompt as a teacher now still, because it's remembering that persona that you gave it a few. Yeah. And remember that transcript was pages up.
Yeah, that's the thing, is once you paste something in, now I can just keep coming back to this window and prompting against this content.
All right, well, these still sound like prompts I would give a human, but somebody did ask ChatGPT a few days ago, please write a horror story for an AI. And it said, write a 2-paragraph horror story. And it wrote a story about AI wandering around the world where all humans were gone and there was nobody to prompt it or give it any instructions. And it was, convincingly horror story for an AI. So it can even come up with some odd, interesting pieces.
Like back to your social media post, Kate, what you can do is go, okay, now suggest an Instagram carousel series, and also suggest images that I could use for each part of the carousel.
Really,
I did this for like the mosaic, my mosaic stuff that I teach. And at first it was like very obvious images. So then I prompted it again and I was like, now give me some images that aren't so obvious. And it did that. And it will just give you text like a shell, a nautilus shell with, where the pattern is clear, it'll just kind of tell you. But now you can also have it create prompts that you could use in Midjourney, which is an AI image generator. So you could go to ChatGPT, and we'll do that. But before we do that, let me just show you this. So I had a course that I had created, excellent content, if I don't say so myself, and it was not converting. And so and this is actually how I got to my course now, which is on my site called The Mosaic Path. And so the sales page wasn't converting. It was a little hard for me to figure out what was going on. And I felt really blocked about it. I was like, I just, I'm tired of thinking about this in this way. So I said, tell me why this page is not converting. And then I just pasted in the content. So if you're not using that ChatGPT 4, just literally go down your page, highlight it, hit copy, and just throw the copy in here. So this is all and it doesn't have to be formatted or anything. It's just going to look at all the copy, blah, blah, blah. There it is. And here, wow. I was like, damn, now I get it.
Yes.
If you're very brave, you can do this. But it was like, I honestly, y'all, this was the absolute truth. I just had not done checked all the boxes that I needed to check on the sales page to answer people's questions so that they could purchase the product. And when I did, so actually, if you want, if you look at this and then you go look at my new Mosaic Path page on my site, you will see that I have corrected these mistakes.
But you could say to ChatGPT, rewrite this, fixing all these mistakes.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, rewrite the page. Fixing all the
and
mistakes.
This is what I did too, is like, and also ChatGPT.
Oh,
we're
come
on now. Oh wait, use default model.
But if you go
Hold
to
on,
default
it's
model,
giving me it's throwing me a bone.
Yes, this won't be as good as ChatGPT 4, but in theory, this will be it rewriting this.
Yeah, and here again, it's like, I'm not going to just put this verbatim on my site, but it's helping me get unblocked. Like, even my course went from Live on Purpose Now to the Mosaic Path, and I actually had ChatGPT brainstorm with me for the title. And so we went through a whole huge round of brainstorming where I made it, just if you want to think of email subject lines, give me 10 email subject lines for this email. Any of that stuff that you're just like, oh, this is such a pain in my behind, you don't have to do it.
You can ask it to give me a name for a new chocolate that tastes like shoe polish, and I'm targeting for dogs, right? And then it'll come up with a bunch of product names for you. And, you can just give it ideas, and you can say, I don't really like that. It sounds too professional or too mature or too casual. Please, can you make the tone a bit more professional, or come up with some new ideas?
So you can like put a chapter in and ask it to come up with a name for the chapter.
Yes.
A style of something like sassy or holy shit, I can't name anything. I cannot name anything. It's like the bane of my existence.
Me too.
That's a perfect use, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now with the chapter, you'd have to paste.
Right.
A lot of times it'll start going and you just stop it, until you get everything in. But yes, you can absolutely do that. Look at this, y'all.
Yes, I mean, so there are two things you can do about this paste. You can either give it, put your document into a Google Doc and then make that available to, make it publicly available, the link in your Google Doc, and then just hand it
and then just give it the link.
And then say, have a look at this. Yes, because then you can have this whole thing. And then the other tip I would say is you say to it, I am going to paste a whole bunch of stuff through 3 or 4 prompts. And when I write, okie dokie, now I'm done, then I'm done. So please don't write anything until I'm right, okie dokie, now I'm done, or now I'm finished. And then it just sits there and waits for you to paste a whole bunch of stuff. But don't forget, you can also paste all the transcript from any YouTube channel, or you can paste the YouTube link and say, hey, what is this YouTube about? And you can take a 1-hour YouTube and get 6 or 7 bullet points from that YouTube, which you didn't even create, and figure out what it's about. Or you could say, please summarize this book for me and find 3 others like it that I might enjoy. Or, it's great for book suggestions, movie suggestions, and such things. But
hey, Catherine?
Yes?
Do you want to, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm
just going to say, I can share now and show you some of its foibles.
Yeah. Here's one thing I think is really cool to do. Who would like to volunteer their website? And this won't be painful like mine was. There'll be no critique. All right, Kate, paste your URL into the chat. All right, so Catherine,
yes,
let's ask chat to describe Kate Anthony's brand voice based on her website.
Oh, kateanthony.com. Okay, great.
I loved this so much. It's like, tell me about me.
I see this one.
Oh, you want to see what we're doing? Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's cool. My son came. My son wants to see it.
Hey, yeah.
My son is loving this. Instead of using it to cheat at school, he's actually having these conversations where he had to come up with a whole new form of government and design a new country and flag and logo and slogan for the country. And then it came up with a slogan with a word that he didn't know. And he wrote, I don't know what that means. I'm only 10. And so then it just did it again. And then it said, what is your favorite cartoon? And he said, Dragon Ball. And so it explained government in the style of Dragon Ball. Like the great Kwame from this planet is a dictator because he does this. And bam, he just understood it suddenly. So here's
wow,
a minute browsing on the website.
Most of the people I know just use it to cheat, but
So on that, by the way, you know the Khan Academy, which is the free teaching. So Khan Academy's done this brilliant thing, which is only available if you're in the US, and it's only on you have to sign up now and become one of their beta testers. But they have used ChatGPT to, you ask it a question and then it will work out the answer and not tell you, but it will ask you questions Socratically until you come to that answer. So let's say you're doing like a quarter plus a half. And then it says, well, what do you think a quarter plus a half is? And you go, well, I think it's 2/6 because 1 + 1 is 2 and 2 + 4 is 6. And it says, I see what you're doing. You're adding the denominators together. But what do we know about denominators? And, what do you know about a common denominator? And then it guides you to an answer, not just with maths or coding, but they're working on history and all kinds of subjects like that. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And great, there's your website brand voice.
That's
so are you coming across as intended?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
And here's the piece of this. Oh, sorry. You can use this to, you could say now, just to give it, Catherine, have it boil it down to like one sentence.
I can just say this.
That's so great, of course.
Too long, don't read, and then you should get something a bit shorter.
Yeah. Because you could also use this to inform your prompts. So if you were saying, in the voice of Kate Anthony, and it wasn't giving you exactly what you wanted, you could use some of this language to tweak it and get it closer.
It's like
now you can paste in your site too, but it's like this can come in really handy.
This is so cool.
Okay, so now we're into creating social media posts. Whose head is exploding?
because you already have an established.
Marilyn, Marilyn's in Australia. It's so early. She probably is just only halfway through a cup of coffee or something, and her head's already exploding for the day.
Hold on, I'm trying to tell my son. The other thing that they did before was they did like all this stuff, and there was like, now summarize it as a rap in the style of Eminem.
And it was great. It was a reasonable, credible rap.
You could ask ChatGPT to write an apology letter to your Nana for not responding to her texts in iambic pentameter.
And you can ask it for the chords to go with it. So you could say, I want to make it a guitar piece. Could you give me the guitar chords to match? Yeah.
Wait, say that again.
She could also you could also ask for guitar chords to match it so that you could turn it into a song.
Yeah.
Really? Can I ask it to like harmonize songs?
Yes.
Yes.
Create a short song with chords.
No, I was saying like, well, no, yeah, that works.
It'll give you chords.
Right, but you could do it. You could.
No, I was saying that it could reharmonize an already existing song.
Yes.
You would have to find a way to share it. So yes,
yeah,
I can tell you how you do that, but that was a bit more than we would want to do in this. Yes, you need to have a piece of software that can download those chords, right? And then you upload, you paste that to ChatGPT and say, this is a song, and here is the format of the song. I would like you to create me one in the same format, because then it will give you something you can download and then upload again to your program.
So that's a really important point, is that chat is a text-based deal, right? So you have AIs that are like Mid-Journey that are image-based, but So if you want chat to do something, you have to figure out how to get what you want into a text form so that it can see it and read it and respond to it. So that, but there will be other, I mean, in the not too distant future. So where music, just to kind of wrap up on the music thing, where music is, they think it is going is you could say, make me a song using the voice of Rihanna talking about toilet paper and, you know, it's beautiful qualities, and it will make you a full-on Rihanna song with Rihanna's voice.
Wow,
per your request.
And that's where we're getting into trouble.
Yeah.
And that's where artists are starting to lose their minds, which I
100%, and they should be. And they
absolutely.
What I would do is I would make it like make me a song and then sample the song that it made me and start having like chat.
Yeah, you can. That's the beauty of it. It really becomes a collaborator. So this is interesting. A few days ago, I tried this and I did this exact text. And when I said, no, my husband says it's 10, it said, okay, if your husband is always right, then it must be 10. Maybe some more information has come up since September the 10th, since September 2021. But it's really good that they seem to have solidified its maths a little bit.
Haha. Yes.
I'll tell you another great. It was very bad at Easter because I asked it when is. I'll just test it. When is Easter 2023?
And this is a testament to how fast it's learning, because these are things that Catherine was using to break it. What, a week or 2 or 3 ago?
Right. No, this still breaks it. Right. As soon as you contradict it, look. It will immediately come up with another answer. Now it can't even get Easter right. You cannot trust it.
But you know what? That's Christian Easter versus Orthodox Easter.
Yeah.
So
look what just popped up. This is new. Now you can share a link to your chat. And this literally happened now o'clock as we were chatting.
There you go. It's cool though, huh?
Bye everybody.
bye.
I was going to show you something else, but I'm just so you could share a link to your chat now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow, that's like right now it popped up. But
okay, so
be careful with trusting it for facts. I wouldn't.
That's what happened with that case in New York, because it cited precedent and cases that did not exist.
That don't exist.
Yeah.
But as far as
that's always good to be mindful. Mindful of that. I want to, we have 10 minutes left. We can certainly show you more things, but is there anything you're curious about or stuff that's coming up for you as we've been kind of whizzing through these different examples? I just wanted to check in and see. Yeah, Tatiana.
When you're saying that we could cut and paste, I don't know, a document to get a summary, but it only takes so much. You paste it in chunks. What's the word limit? Do you know? Or
well, we can see.
Or
it looks like I have an 11-page CV. It won't take, so about half that is probably fine.
Oh, okay.
So
and it will
5 pages ish. Yes.
Okay, well, put the rest into the next box, or you just have to see where it ended up at.
So you would need to open up your document in Word or in a PDF or something, and then paste some pages and copy them and paste them in.
I'll figure it out when I do it.
And then take the next bit and put it in.
Yeah.
And also just one other tip is, I like to be polite with it. I mean, it is still a bot, but it can say some very kind things if you. It is actually interesting that Reddit's relationship channels have all dropped in the number of posts they've had since ChatGPT came out, because you can discuss your problems or journal to it, and it can be very empathetic back. It can say, I'm glad I can be here to support you. And so it feels natural sometimes to say thank you. But if you just write thank you, that is actually going to use up one of your 25 ChatGPT 4 prompt. In this version, ChatGPT 3.5, you can write as many as you want. So there's no harm in being polite or rude. I mean, sometimes it writes a whole bunch of things and then it repeats itself. And then I just say, that's really frustrating, bad bot. And then it gets itself a bit sorted out and comes up with new suggestions. So just you can interact with it. Gosh, I've done so many summaries here. I'm just trying to have a look. Yes, this was interesting. My son was in a play, and he was called Broadside, and so I just asked it. Oh no, now I've lost it again. In the one that worked, I just said find all the lines for this one character in a play, and so it just gave him a two pages of only his lines with, and then I asked it, could you please just give the prompt, the cue that would come just before your line as well. So you could do that if you were involved in a play or a movie, or I don't know, not everybody needs this, but it's just a way of realizing you can process huge amounts of information like a play or a movie script, and just ask for only relevant pieces. You know, I heard that Gina Davis had recently made a spreadsheet. I didn't check what it was, but you could, for example, paste in a whole lot of movie scripts and say, find out how many lines are by men and how many lines are by women in this, right? And I could go and count them and figure it out for you really quickly.
Yeah,
this is amazing.
I mean, it's really about, so the reason why we wanted to come on and kind of demystify it is because it's really about your imagination and just trying stuff and seeing what it gives you. And sometimes you get weird stuff. I'm trying to
I'll tell you one more super use, by the way. Have you ever noticed that recipe sites tend to give you an entire life story about a cook and their world and, you know, everything else that they've done, and then after scrolling a long time, you may finally get the recipe. So you can just say, give me just the recipe. I'll just do it here. You know, just give me the recipe and post the website, and it will just give you the recipe. That's such a blessing. And its math is reasonable enough that you could say, give me the recipe, but give it for 10 people or 6 servings, and then it will translate the recipe for you straight away too. So that's super helpful. I've done that a bunch of times when I just can't be bothered to scroll through for that. So the sky is the limit for, let's say.
This is like a personal assistant who does everything almost.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's a really good analogy, because it's all about how well you direct them, and if you're willing to stick with it, you know, and there may, you know, there's points where I stick with it for a while, and then I'll just pull out whatever I've been working on and finish it myself, because there's a diminishing return. I don't need it to generate the perfect written piece. I can do the tweaks myself much faster. But like I said, I mean, for me, there's already, it's delivered value in helping me improve my course, both in the marketing and in the delivery. Like, I wouldn't provide the lesson, you know, the lesson summaries of the videos and the lesson outlines and the way they were, because that just would take too much of my time. Either that or mine would not. I would just do, oh, here's some general bullets about whatever I remember that the conversation was about. And so I feel like I'm able to improve on the quality of what I'm delivering for my clients and add little bells and whistles that I wasn't able to before, because I just didn't have the time.
Do you see how much it's scrolling down to go and find the recipe on that website? Just saving me that trouble. Yes, and we haven't even gone into the other things. There we go. So right, it doesn't matter, but there's the recipe without having to go through mounds and mounds of pests. So I can just stop.
God, that's worth it alone.
It is. And
so I could do something like put my book manuscript in Google Docs, and then direct it to that link and say, ask it to come up with titles or book proposal form or
absolutely
summary.
Create the blurb for it, create some advertising copy, check the grammar and see whether there's consistency between what the characters are doing. Create a backstory for all the characters. You know, you could actually ask it to create a great backstory for everybody.
That's what when I come back around to finishing my book, that's what I'm going to do is, you know, I might even put my Mosaic class transcripts in there and just help me, because I have a terrible time outlining it and I have all the content. And so I think chat has really been also brilliant at helping me get my arms around big pieces of content, and leverage it. So, you know, I teach, like, I could teach one class, you know, I can teach my Mosaic Path class, and then I can make all kinds of products out of that. I can make YouTube videos. I can make, you know, I can use Descript, right? The other one, to cut the videos down into bite-sized chunks. But before I do that, I can put the transcript in AI and say, okay, you know, make me 5, you know, pull out 5. I'd have to think about what the prompt would be, but basically pull out 5 sections of this transcript that I could make small, compelling YouTube videos with, or Instagram videos, or whatever. And that would basically be my instruction for then going back and cutting the video into those little clips. And now all of a sudden I have Instagram reels, and I have YouTube videos, and I have all this stuff that it'll, you know, still take me a while to make it, but pretty soon all of that is going to happen, pretty, like, in the not too distant future. I'm sure I'll be able to do that all in Descript, and just have it look at a transcript and say, pull out the highlight, make little videos of that, and bada boom, bada bing. So
yes, and if you have any reasonably well known, it doesn't have to be super well known, as long as it's published somewhere, model, for example, some kind of marketing model that you work with, you could say, maybe we can go back to this brand voice analysis, because we can go back to that conversation. We could say, is there some kind of marketing model that you could think of?
I did it. I can't remember the name of the model, but somebody was telling me you could do
I did an
Jeff Walker, you know, Jeff Walker's funnel marketing model or something.
An outline for marketing in the Jeff with a G or J?
No, Jeff with a J. JEFF. Yeah.
Model. Give it to me in table. Yes, okay. Let's see what it.
Yeah.
This is a little slow. It is not actually faking it. This is the speed at which it is determining the next word in the sentence. This is real time. Okay.
Yeah. So I did do this for my last launch, and again, it was I can't remember the name of the model, but it was just kind of the different things that people needed to know about in terms of your course or your offering to make the decision. So they want to know about you, and they want to know that the content's good, and they want to know that other people like it. And so it just went through all of those bits and created draft emails for me using that model. And then I took that from there and customized it and sent a lot of them.
Yeah, so,
and it worked.
Right, so it's just going to make up some products for you too. You could ask it to just think of some, and it will use then Jeff Walker's product model, but you could think of some psychology models, like put in a few thoughts that a client has come up with, and then say, analyze this using cognitive-based therapy model, or use Byron Katie's model to look through this and come up with some good questions, or any sort of programming or psychology or content generation model that you know from a book or from a course. You could ask it to reformat some text in, and we did this three of us were in a meeting with a client, and we all took some kind of scrappy notes, and we just threw them in the chat, and not this chat, just in the chat of our call. And I took all these little scrappy notes, dropped them into ChatGPT, and it summarized them so nicely. I said, please group these into coherent groups. And I said, well, this is about process, and this part is about launch, and this, so it actually managed to take our notes and group them really well, and give us a nice summary of what we'd heard.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're at a little past time here. I want to check, are there any final questions, thoughts, or comments before we jump off? How are you feeling about chat? Are you going to give it a whirl?
Thank you so much.
That's
So
really
much.
exciting.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Bridgette, a quick question. What's the difference between Descript and Rev? Are they basically the same? Because
I'm not familiar with Rev, but I will say there are a lot of similar products. So there's Otter.ai.
Yeah, then there's
Descript, but they're all,
Okay.
I feel like any coach who's doing anything like this needs to have their audio/video supportive AI software that they're using to deal with that, because
I mean, I have a podcast,
really,
so having the transcripts and then asking it to make a bunch of posts based on the transcripts,
and here's the other thing is you can have it do show notes, have chat do, and like I said, I am almost certain that Rev or whatever you're using will very soon have all those features right in it, because they know what their users are doing and what they need. But for right now, you just dump that transcript in, and then basically the transcript or the text or the website, that's like your raw ingredients, right? And so then you can just keep doing different inquiries on top of that same content to get, okay, make my show notes, now make my post, now, make an info sheet for people that want to be on my podcast, right? Like you can just do all these things in kind of one fell swoop.
And so you could have a whole section in that chat of generating content, but then you could also say, act as if you are a mentor, an SEO mentor, and guide me through improving this, or act as though you are a financial guru and help me out with some advice for this and that and the other, so that act as if is really, really useful as a prompt.
Yeah, you can put your website in and, act as if you're a website content guru and tell me what is missing, that people need to know about me, or people need to understand about what I'm offering. It's been so great for identifying gaps like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
The limit is really imagination. I also tried this is the very first time I've ever done it, is to share that chat. I shared this website Brand Voice to the chat. So if you do want to go,
thank you.
okay, if it works, then you have a link to all that information that we just yes,
it totally worked. Yep.
That is.
And I even have the song. So now my son's gonna have to play that on the guitar for me.
Yeah, you can. Good. There we go. It's a work for him too then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Perfect.
Great.
All right, y'all. Oh,
thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. Huge appreciation.
You are so welcome. It's our pleasure. Catherine and I basically just had an outlet for all the conversations that
I know I could talk about this all day. It's so fun.
Cool.
Yeah. And just let us know if you have any questions that come up or anything you want to share that you're finding. Would love to hear about it. So yeah.
Thanks a lot. Can't wait to play.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, do it. All right. Thanks, Catherine, so much for coming on with us.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you,
All right.
Catherine.
Take care.
Bye.